Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T, and if true crime is your jam and like me, you enjoy delving into unsolved cases, trying to figure out who done it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please hit that like button. For a time, I thought there was a possibility that Summer Wells might have been weighted and placed in a body of water. Just seeing how much water surrounds the area where she lived and the many rescue missions that the guys from Adventures with Purpose have done where they've found missing persons in watery graves made me think this was a possibility. However, after hearing Dave Rader, the operations director of EquiSearch Midwest, talk about this type of scenario, I've realized how unlikely it would be in Summer's case. While bodies strapped into cars that have gone into lakes and rivers seem to stay put for many years, according to Rader, most of the time, bodies in water, even if weighted, will float to the surface within hours or days, depending on a few factors. One example of this that I thought of was Laci Peterson. Remember beautiful Laci Peterson? She was 27 years old and 8 months pregnant when she disappeared on Christmas Eve in 2002. According to the prosecutors that tried Laci's husband, Scott, he weighted her body down with 4 homemade concrete anchors before dumping her into the San Francisco Bay. 4 months after Laci disappeared, her remains and those of her baby Connor were found in the bay. A piece of nylon tape was looped around the child's neck when it washed ashore, and there was a laceration or tear of some sort on his tiny body. There was also tape on Laci's body. Peterson thought he had the whole thing figured out, only to discover that even when weighted down and thrown into the ocean, bodies often come to the surface. Listen to how Dave Rader explains what typically happens when a human being is in the water and they begin to decompose. If you have a queasy stomach or find this stuff upsetting, you might want to turn it off. It's not that bad, but it's a little gross.
There was a body of water. I'm leaving this up on the screen. Just to the left of this arrow where the guy's walking, it's like a mucky green water here to the left. Again, these are always places of concern, but Dave, you and I always talk about if there was, again, if it was a body that was a fresh dump in that water, they float up to the top. And right now, a body of water is really, some people always say, well, why aren't they concentrating on bodies of water? Do you want to just talk a little bit, and this doesn't pertain to Summer Wells, but it just pertains to bodies when they're in the water and when they decomp and how that happens. Just, I know you talked about that with me early on when I first met you, so I'd like you to just expand on a body that's dumped in water, whether it's tied down with rocks or whatnot.
What people don't understand is that usually when a body of water, you put a body in water, the process is that it's going to start to decomp, which it means bloats, and then as it bloats, the gases will bring you to the surface. Now, depending on the water temperature, and to weight somebody down, you would have to have a tremendous amount of weight to you.
By the way, that conversation was in a show that Duty Ron did with Dave Rader and Twyla Cisco about 3 months ago. Now, Dave Rader didn't say how much weight you'd actually need to weight somebody down, and I think it would probably differ from one body of water and one climate to another, but it sounds like you'd need a whole heck of a lot, more than 4 homemade concrete slabs, and more than someone who would be in a hurry and frantic could get their hands on if they were trying to dispose of a body quickly. Rader said that the deeper and colder the water, the longer a body can be preserved, and that makes sense. He explained that in the winter, a body can take 3 to 4 weeks to float to the surface, but in the summer, and or in warmer climates and warmer water, it usually takes about a week to 10 days for a body to float up. And that's exactly what happened with Mallory Beach. You may recall Mallory Beach was 19 years old when she died on February 23rd of 2019. That's when Paul Murdoch of South Carolina slammed his family's boat into a bridge piling while he was drunk in the early hours of the morning. Beach was ejected from the boat, and her body wasn't found until a week later. Note that this was in the low country of South Carolina, and they were in a river, so the water was likely much warmer than San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean. According to Dave Rader, alcohol can have a huge effect on how a body floats. If someone's been drinking beer, that person will surface a lot quicker than somebody who is drinking whiskey. Whiskey halts decomposition and bloating, so the body will stay under the surface longer. Who knew? In Summer's case, Rader said that if the child was put in water of any depth, within 10 days, she would have been spotted from the air by planes, helicopters, or a drone. So now I believe a watery grave is an unlikely hiding spot for Summer Wells. So I think that we can rule that one out. So the question remains, where's Summer? What happened to Summer? Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Now you know the drill. Please hit that like button, please subscribe, leave me a comment, and if you want to support my channel, hey, you can leave a donation with your comment.